Good evening, good evening, good evening, everyone. Before I get into this conversation, let's go into our Father's Prayer. I didn't speak to you all this morning. Like I said, I had to be to work this morning, 9 a.m. So I was on an earlier schedule this morning, so I wasn't able to really come out and come this morning and speak with everybody. But God has surely, truly been good, and I just give Him thanks for His traveling mercies and His traveling grace, having me to and from my destination safely, protecting me at the workplace today, and also protecting me in my home and watching over my loved ones so far. No news is good news, and I'm thanking God for that. And I'm thanking God and I'm praying and I'm hoping that God will continue to keep my loved ones safe. Keep each and every last one of them, wherever they whereabouts may be. Wherever their state of mind is right now, that God will touch, heal, and deliver. God will renew their strength. And my prayers go out to the family, the Harris family, as well as for Afeni, Muhammad, even though what she did was not something I would look at as justified. But then when you look at it, you can also see it as she wasn't alone. Um, when she committed such a heinous act. So let's go into our Father's prayer. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day, Lord, our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who have trespassed against us. Lord, lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thou, you are the kingdom, the power, the glory, forever and ever. Amen, amen, amen. But, like I just felt I needed to come and talk about this today because it's going on viral online. Everybody's talking about this woman, dragging this woman. Oh, she's a murderer. Oh, she deserved this. She deserves that. And it's a whole lot of things that just started running through my mind throughout this whole thing. Every day, something new. God is pouring something new and new and new into me. And all I could think about is that this woman had enough. Okay? She just had enough. Maybe it wasn't Jennifer who was the bully. Maybe it just wasn't Jennifer who she really wanted to, you know, actually harm. But that was the breaking point. Okay. Whatever she was dealing with at that moment in her life, because she was going towards her social media, TikTok page, doing these videos and everything, just talking about things that was going on in her head and also demonstrating some of the demons that she was fighting with, like putting on all, like you can see this photo right here. Look how beautiful she looked, in this photo with her. This is a beautiful photo, y'all. That's why I wanted to put it up. How she had to hide her beauty and all of this demonic stuff. We all put on a mask every single day. We battling with some demons in our lives. We fighting with demons in us. And that's why I put this video as we all have an Afeni living inside of us. Like, let me share something I just encountered today. I like to wear something different every day because that expresses my personality. I don't want to be in uniform. Okay. I don't like uniform. I like my clothes to be different. I like to just be me. And I like to stand out just being me. But when I go to work, I like to put on whatever I have to wear there at the job. I'm willing to wear it. But I'll change my clothes in the bathroom. So today, I just started this job. Just started. And this morning I said I went to my what you call this off. I said, some things was going through my mind because I didn't like that reference that I got from my previous job. But by the Lord, I said, but I don't like somebody to write something like that about me. Let me move on. Judge me from what you know from me from what you know from here on. Don't let people plot these things in your head. I said by people writing something about you, it's saying something about your character. Okay. saying something about it's two sides to a story to everything. So anyway, moving forward, I came in this morning because that stuff was like after all of this has happened with this young lady right here, Afeni, in some kind of way I can relate to her why she got so angry, why she just got enraged, and she came back and said, "Look, you keep cutting my hours. I'm tired of this." Because you get tired of people just pushing you over the edge, just pushing your buttons. Okay, and then on top of that, like back to me, as I was leaving tonight, and I changed my clothes. I went in the bathroom before I clocked out. I went to the bathroom, and while I went to the bathroom before I was leaving, I changed my outfit. I changed back into my regular clothes. My, because I have to wear like the school's uniform shirt, t-shirt, and I don't really like wearing. I only have two t-shirts. I just only got two t-shirts. So the supervisor, or whoever she is, assistant director, whatever she is, she says, "Oh, did you clock out yet?" And I said, "No, I haven't. I'm getting ready to go now. I just come from the bathroom. But while I was there, I changed my clothes." "Oh, well, before you change your clothes and everything, you're supposed to clock out." That right there it was something that could have ticked me off. You know what I'm saying? Like, what the freak? I'm a grown ass woman, okay? And you talking to me in that fucking kind of way. I could have snapped right fucking then and there. I'm just started this fucking job. I only been here. Then today she called me, right? And she wanted me to actually take a half an hour lunch break. Are you fucking kidding me? I told her no. I'm not doing it. I said no, I'm not taking no half an hour. I'm taking a whole hour. I'm gonna need a whole hour today. I'm sorry. I don't say. First of all, you asked me to come in at 9 o'clock. And the time that I am scheduled to come in is at 12 to 6. Because I told you already from the time I started this job, this is what I can do for now. You know what I'm saying? So I already did that extra for you. Now you want to push at me and want me to fucking take a half an hour lunch break. And I told her fucking no. So this was probably why how her way was trying to retaliate against me. Like, "Oh, well, you clocked out yet? Trying to find a way to fuck with me. You know what I'm saying? And this is what I'm saying about why sometimes people fucking snap. How they feel bullied at work, how they feel intimidated by sometimes people that be in charge, and they know they abuse power. You know what I'm saying? I'm a new person on the job. I'm trying to get to know everybody. I'm trying to get to know the routine here. This, that, the other. And you already fucking with me? And people already put in my head about this fucking bitch. But I'm trying not to think of her the way everybody else sees her. I'm just trying to see her for who I can actually see her for. But just to say some shit like that to me was fucking, I told her, I said, "Oh, okay." And I walked out the door. So, kind of like I'm saying this because I can relate to how Afeni might have just snapped. What went through her fucking mind? Like, how many jobs she probably already been through that she probably had to knife motherfuckers up, motherfuckers. Okay, because you get people that do fuck with you at work, and especially people that are in authority, people that are in a higher position, people that are maybe your supervisor, your assistant, or whoever. You come to do your fucking job. They want you to take care of the take care of the motherfucking kids. That's what you come there. You doing your job. You've been there before. You know this shit. Especially a person at my age. Okay, I don't fucking want to work no more. Point blank. Period. But I know I got to. I gotta eat. I gotta pay bills. I gotta do what I gotta do to keep life pushing ahead. So when you look at this woman here, Afeni Badu Muhammad, whatever the hell her name is. No, I don't justify her doing this to that woman, that woman kids. But somehow they say she showed no remorse because she just like snapped. She just fucking lost it. Because she said, "I don't had enough. This world is so fucking cold. This world can be so bullyish. It's bullies, bullies, bullies. We see fucking bullies every fucking day. We deal with a bully. We deal with people on social media that will just come on your social media and you want to talk about things like me being an R. Kelly lover. I love R. Kelly. He never done this man, never done anything to me. His music has always been some kind of way to lift me up in a way, and it was always enjoyable to listen to for me. Well, it depends on where I was in my life, and I was listening to an R. Kelly song, and how it has played such a significant part of my life, okay, of his storytelling through his music. And you got people that hate R. Kelly for what? If I love him, you ain't got to come to my channel. You ain't got to come here. If I make a comment about him, about something good about him, you don't have to come behind my comment and attack it. You got people that do shit like that. So then you can go deep. You got to go through all of this deepness and trying to find a way how people can fucking just had enough. This woman enjoyed listening to her crazy demonic music. I don't listen to that shit. Okay. It's not my thing, and I wouldn't even fuck with her because I just know this ain't the kind of person I'm a fuck with. Because she listened to a music that I just don't have a liking for. So I'm not gonna mess with her. Let her stay in her world over there, and I'll just stay in my world over here. You know what I'm saying? But you just got some people that just fuck with people, that just look for a way to fuck with people. And you do got people that will just fuck with you on the job. You get bullies on the job, people that will gather around and just fuck with that one person and talk about them. And this is what Afeni was saying when she was running and doing all of these videos about her rage and about her anger, about her friend, her roommate Dwayne. Now they got a fucking TikTok going on about her that some roommate Dwayne, Ronald Dwayne, somebody got some shit going on for clickbait. People putting out all this false information, just adding more and more shit to it. Adding more shit to it. Ain't no news report, no nothing made any came out and said anything about her roommate being missing, but it goes online that people just want clickbait. Just fucking with people. The girl has got a $25 million bond. She ain't going no motherfucking where no time soon. She's in the whatever county jail being, detained for her actions. Okay? So why people gotta still be fucking with her? She did what she did, and like I did, I sent out my words of strength and encouragement to the family, to the children of Jennifer. I did my part in praying for that family, for especially for those children and the loss of their mother. But I don't know Jennifer. I don't know what her spirit was like. But from what people were saying at her memorial, I took information from there. I build up who she was from what they said. I don't know her. I didn't work with her. And I know people, but I have worked with some people and managers, bosses, supervisors, directors, you name it. I've been through some shit, and I'm tired of going through this shit with people. Just leave me the fuck alone. Let me do my job. Let me leave. Let me clock out. Let me do. I got my clothes on. I'm clocking out, getting the fuck out. Okay? It wasn't even quite 6 o'clock yet. I changed my fucking clothes in the bathroom. I went to the bathroom because I always use the toilet before I leave. And I went in there, changed my clothes, and I didn't fuck with your time. So why the fuck you fucking with me? You know what I'm saying? Why would you even find it necessary to even have to say anything to me? I wanted to fucking snap on that bitch today. But I just got here and I know I have to make it through. So as I was on my way home, and I was talking to my husband. I was sitting down. I wrote some stuff down. I wrote some stuff down. I recorded it and then I wrote it down. Things that was going on in my mind at the time. And I wrote about this girl, Afeni. And I wrote something, and I'm gonna read it out here to you all. Because sometimes I used to do poetry. I go into my mind of thoughts and make a metaphor of things, and I try to take things that I see sometimes what other people are going through, and even try to implement it as part of my life. And I says we all have an Afeni in us. I said we all have an Afeni Muhammad in us. Some of us just learn how to keep it in check, how to tame the rage before it wrecks. But don't act like you ain't ever been on that edge. Don't act like judgment makes you innocent. I say, yes, it's sad what happened to Jennifer. It's more than sad, it's sickening. But what's even more disturbing? That a room full of people let it happen. That someone, anyone, could have stepped in before it turned tragic. I said 15 times. Jennifer was stabbed 15 times and nobody could grab a chair, a broom, a word, a warning, a prayer, or a move. And let's talk about that hoodie covered up her head from head to toe in 90-degree heat. That wasn't fashion, that was a signal. That was a walking red flag. And no one raised their hand to wave back. So let's be real. Afeni didn't act alone. Silence stood beside her. Inaction stood behind her. Apathy held upon the door. It's easy to point at the one holding the knife, but harder to call out the ones who watched and walked away from life. See, we all got a battle inside. We all got demons we're trying to hide. Some of us fight them with tears, some with fists, some just walk away. But make no mistake, we all got an Afeni. So stop judging, start listening, stop seeing, start stepping in, because sometimes the blood ain't just on the blade, it's on the hands that stayed clean by doing nothing. And that's it. Because you know what? When Afeni walked inside of that restaurant after she was sent home and she came back 5 minutes later, hooded up, why wasn't any of those other workers noticing the red flag? This girl came in 90-degree weather. It was a hot, I said 90-degree. I don't really know how much the heat was on that morning when she returned back into that building, but I just had to say that because in this time of the year, somebody walking in with a hoodie on, covered up, and they face covered up in a mask, you know they coming to do something wrong. That's a red flag. Why didn't nobody take a chair, a broom, or do something? That was a warning right there. But they stood around and allowed this woman to be stabbed to death 15 times in front of them. Why didn't nobody stop it? It had to take a man that was on the in the line or whatever he was. I don't know what the details of the story. I don't know whether he was standing inside the store, he was coming and entering inside the store when it was happening, or was he outside the store. That we don't know. But he had to fire shots in the air as a warning. And she ran. And he ran after her and held her until first responders came to arrest her. But still in all, what was the other workers in there doing? Like 15 pokes. I don't know how the incident happened. So that's, and then the girl they investigated on the news was like, oh, the girl they investigated on the news, she was saying, oops, sorry, y'all. Let me go back. I got to go back. We got to go back. But look, I don't want to go there, okay? But the girl they investigated on the news said she was covered up in a mask. Only reason how I noticed it was her because of her hand. But you was standing right there. Why didn't you get a fucking chair? You in McDonald's. There's a chair. There's a fry vat. You could have picked one of those up and knocked upside her head while she was stabbing, and you could have got involved. You could have took a tray, something, and hit her with it, or some way for her to stop stabbing on Jennifer. So blood is on your hands as much as it is on the blade. Okay? See, that's the part people don't seem to understand. That's the part people seem to miss. They want to say Afeni, but we all got an Afeni inside of us. We at a breaking point. You know, we snap, we crash out. Because it takes that one time somebody could just, somebody could have said something to you, like me, for instance. You could have been driving to work and somebody cut you off. You understand what I'm saying? All your way to work, all kind of things could have been happening. You could just take that one thing somebody can do and you snap. And people have those moments. So when you hear about these people sitting up here, going online, and then they got more stuff going up that her roommate is missing, and that it was her roommate is missing, all this other crazy shit they add into it. A lot of shit. I'm sorry, y'all, I'm going through a lot of photos here, but let me come out of there. Let me come out of there. Okay, let's go back to the gallery. Okay, y'all, back to the gallery. Yeah. So I'm just saying, it just takes that one person with that, like, you ready to explode. It's just like, say for instance, you got a can of soda. Pass it around to that person, they shake it. The next person, they shake it. And the next person, they shake it. And you take that can of soda, you open it, and it just explode. You see what I'm saying? So you got to look at people in that same way. Because they say, the word of God says, who will know the heart? Who will know the heart? This woman probably was the boss and everything. She's a little weird. They say she's passive aggressive, whatever the hell she is. I picked that out. You know, this white woman, whatever. And you know you need your job. You know, you know you need to go on. You know you need to do some things ahead. You got some goals to meet, some financial goals. This woman was on her way trying to move out and get out away from the house she was living in because she was living there and she was being harassed by her roommate to want to have, she probably had sex with him. I don't know what she did. You know, I don't know this woman. But I know that I can kind of see what made her snap. What made her so mentally ill? What could have made her just crazy? And why she stayed in this weird way with herself, how she became this introvert, how she became this person who just started to have created all these different personalities. And she seemed to have a love for Chucky and all these demonic, you know, even some of the counselors today, Frankie, are off the chain. You wouldn't believe what some counselors, like for instance, like a child that's dealing with a identity crisis. Sometimes these psychiatrists, they need to be have some therapy. But the most important thing we need to have in our life, and we need to be rooted in, something we need to be strong in, and that's the word of God. Because somebody is going to push you over the edge. Somebody is going to push your buttons. People will come at you. You could be having a beautiful day, and like I was today, I came in this morning a little disturbed, and I let them know I came to vent in the office about what I was feeling about. And I asked for a copy of it, and they was like, "Oh no." I said because I want to take this, and they was like, "Oh no, we can't give you that." Okay, at least I tried. So I kind of can relate. And this ain't the first job I had that I worked at any kind of early learning centers or any early educational centers. And I want to just, and I'm just tired of it. I just still got to work. You know what I'm saying? I don't know her story. I don't see her family. I don't know her family. I don't know this young lady's family. No, so far we haven't seen anybody come out and speak on her behalf of her family members or anything of that nature. We haven't seen anything like that yet. If she has a family, she's a foster child, she's been through the system. We don't know. But people are out here still bullying this woman. They going all over the social media page calling her crazy, calling her all that murderer and putting the titles out there, putting out these thumbnails and all this stuff with her looking like a nutcase, a demon, and all this other stuff. People out here just clowning her, and then on top of that, not only just clowning her, just doing the stupidest things. Like this family that lost these children that lost their mother, they putting out memes of this poor woman that died, this innocent woman that died because of what the world was doing to this woman here. And she was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. Just somebody that she just snapped on, you know. And just the daughter crying and saying, we met the lady. She used to give us stickers. She used to talk to us. She used to, we used to come to my mother's job after school or whatever and sit in there, until my mother get off. We know who she was. So the kids were saying, how could she do this to my mother? My mother was the sweetest person, the nicest person. And it just broke their heart. You never know. People kill their own damn family members in the house. Just snap. Snap. It happens. It happens. That's why I say we got to stop judging and do more praying. Because we all have an Afeni Muhammad in us. Whether we recognize them or not. I recognized mine today. And I had to hold myself together. Because I like my freedom. I like my independence. And I can't live with a whole lot of me's around in no cell. For real, for real. So I'm just saying, it's bad on both sides. It's tragic on both sides. It's tragic where this young lady gonna have to spend her life, the remaining of her youth. And it's sad how those young people gotta go on without their mom. But I did send them something inspirational from all of this to see a beacon of light. To not let their mother's legacy be in vain. Don't let what she left behind, her life and her good spirit of this is what they said about her. Allow that to be something positive. Allow yourselves to take advantage, not take advantage, but use it and turn it into something great to the world for her life to go on through you, through her children. It was nice that their mother's manager was able to come. I mean, mother's owner of the store said some kind words about their mother, Yusuf Alkari, and how I was going so hard at it. I was blowing up social media talking about that man. I was I looked up his name out here. I went there. I was like, look, he's the owner. When they said that he sent a statement to the public about what happened, and he sent the statement out. And that statement, I was like, okay, I know a lot of them always send statements, and then that's it. Nobody talks about it no more. Oh well. But this one, I wasn't like, no, For some reason, another thing that hit me about McDonald's is that I said something about R. Kelly that people didn't know that R. Kelly, it was more than just food for him at McDonald's. It was something he gave back to that he was a part of. He gave back. He was more than just music. He gave back to the community. He gave to the Ronald McDonald House because he loved McDonald's, and he also gave to the HBCUs and how black people were celebrated at McDonald's. And if you write to R. Kelly and you ask him, he'll let you know. People didn't even know R. Kelly did that. A real fan of R. Kelly knows that. And everybody thought it was always had something to do with children, but it was more than just children. It was something that he saw of his people. Even through his songs that he tell his stories in the song called Gotham City for the ghetto. That's a deep song. And his music was always about his people being conscious. His music was always about consciousness. When he went into that world in his pain, I mean, of how he seen his people suffering. And R. Kelly was a part of certain organizations as well for the black community. That man was more than just music. He's more than just music. I did post it on his fan page that how people don't forget about all his great contributions other than just music. When I talk about R. Kelly loved McDonald's because McDonald's inspired him in his greatness. He tells his story about his love for how his mother used to sit him in there and talk to him, and they used to go together and have their little meals together. But while R. Kelly was there, he seen a whole lot more other great things that was there, other than the food. It was in his soul. It was something that was deep about it. And I want to write to him, but I don't even know how his letters are going to reach him with all this craziness going on around his trial and his legal team and all of this other crazy stuff. The only best person I think I can write is to President Trump. That's like my only resource. Write a letter to President Trump. Not do it online, but sit down and just write and send it to the president. Why I feel R. Kelly needs another chance and he needs to be pardoned. Because there's a lot of people out here that just keep saying a lot of confusion and causing a lot of confusion and doing all kind of stuff around this trial. And when you put it out there in public, it's just some things I just don't want. What I want to do for R. Kelly in public, I just don't. Because some people are just doggone messy, 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 messy. So anyway, y'all, that's why I said I don't really want to do too much over here on R. Kelly because I'm working on some things privately for R. Kelly. But I wanted to share that since this incident happened in McDonald's, and I wanted to share R. Kelly's what McDonald's was to R. Kelly, other than just his music, other than him just going there for a meal. All the other great things R. Kelly's been doing and contributing to. It makes me want to cry. And that's why when I hear Afeni Muhammad's story, it's sad. This lost black woman, her soul. I just pray that God will forgive her and that there will be some redemption. And we will hear her side and we will listen. We will listen. Instead of sitting around judging her, pray for her. Sinners have souls too, because we all sinners, saved by grace. And like I said, we all got an Afeni Muhammad that's inside of us. So with that being said, I'm going to say good night. And I God bless you. I